Hello and welcome back to At Your Command. This is the little series where you guys can ask me any advice on Bedrock Edition commands, and I'll try my hardest to help you, okay? Now you can ask me this through my Discord channel. There is a link for it in the description of the video. But yes, this is episode 2, and I've listened to a couple of you guys. I've got a couple of your, hopefully going to answer a couple of your command questions and queries here. Now, one of these is by a creator called Jessa101, and there's just a random couple of others that I've put together. So what I'm actually going to be doing on this series is kind of keeping everything like in episode form. So this was episode 1, the next will be episode 2, which is all about particles and sounds, okay? Now, I've added some extra things as well because a couple of people did ask some other questions. I did have a couple of signs over here with all the things I was going to do. But after a while, when I started playing around with this, I was like, whoa, this is getting quite big. So it's a bit different from episode 1. I'm going to have to just show you manually how I've done these, okay, by going into each command. So what I'm going to be doing is explaining a couple of particles that I kind of like to use, but I want to explain where you can find out where you can get these particles from. So if you go to the official Minecraft add-on website, I'll be posting this on the screen right now so you can see what I'm talking about. And if you scroll right down to the bottom, you can download like behavior pack and resource pack, like templates basically, that are actually up to date with the current official version of Minecraft Bedrock Edition. So currently we're at 1.14. I don't think it's ever changed since that, okay? But I know we're at 0.60, but it doesn't really change in that because they just update it for hotfixes. But if you go to the resource pack and you go to particles, you can actually find the actual names of all these particles that you can use in your commands. So, for example, I've got here the arrow spell particle, okay? So if I look into this repeating command block here, and it's actually called the arrow spell emitter, and I'll have a side-by-side comparison here so you can see in the resource pack, in the actual code, I use Sublime Text Editor, by the way, if you didn't realize what this orangey kind of looking text is. It's the same name, so that's how you actually write it in command block form. This also goes for commands with slash, like this, okay? It's a similar sort of thing with the sounds as well. So I just want to get these two things out of the way before I actually start talking about this. If you go to sounds in the same resource pack and go to sound definitions at the very, very bottom of this little folder, look, there is every single sound in Minecraft in here. Now again, if I go to this very last command block here and it says bow hit, and it says here, play sound, bow.hit. I shall find that on the Sublime thing. And there we go. Exactly the same. So you have to write it like this. Okay? So now I got that out of the way. Hopefully you understand how to find all these and use them. Now note, some of these do not actually work, these particles. That's because most of them are from the educational edition. Or they use experimental features. Or they just don't actually emit anything. I don't know if there has to be certain conditions on some of these. Like, for example, if you try and use the squid ink one, it doesn't do anything. I don't know if it has to be submerged in water or something for it to actually emit the particle. But, you know, I haven't really tested it too much. It's basically just a white cloud that's kind of black, right? It's not that amazing. I don't think anyone would really want to use it. But, hey-ho, it works with squid ink anyway. So for today's example, I've actually set up a couple of tag commands, and what a tag command is basically you're just tagging an entity with whatever you want it to be called. So you're kind of naming it in a way, but you don't see the name. It's hidden, okay? So you're tagging it. Kind of like tag, you're it. They're infected or they're tagged with whatever you wanted to be called. That's probably the weirdest explanation I know, but it probably makes sense, right? But anyway, how you do this is just literally write tag, and then you put whatever you want it to be. I'm doing at closest player in a range of 4, count equals 1, and then whenever you do tags, you have to do add, remove, or there is list as well. And I'm just adding one called particle. And then this one is basically the same sort of thing, apart from I've just flipped these two commands around, okay? So all the chain command block is just letting me know that the tag has been added. So when I flick this, you'll see tag added. And when I flip this one, it's going to say tag removed. So what I've done is just flip this chain command block around, and this one is actually removing the particle tag. You still with me? I hope you are. So I'm going to turn this one off and turn this one off, and now I'm going to stick this back on. So I got my tag particle. So imagine I'm renamed particle. That's the best way to look at this. Now I've set up all of these, and I want to show you these just before I actually do anything. So let's open up all of these little gates here. And for example, this is the arrow spell emitter. So it kind of looks like this. Unfortunately, I don't think we can actually color these, but either way, it's a pretty cool little particle effect. This one is probably one of my favorites. This is the critical strike. You know, when you jump and hit things or whatever. This one is another one of my personal favorites. This is a very, very random one. This one is called the Rising Border Dust Particle. I have no idea what this is for. I think it's something to do with the educational edition. But either way, I love that one because, look, I don't know, can you still see that? Like, what is going on? Did you see that? It was going on forever. But that's the reason why I like this one. It kind of just disappears after time. But it, like, goes away, look. Whee! I don't know. I really like it. I think that one is one of my favorites. This is when a mob is spawned from a spawner. You kind of notice that. It kind of looks pretty obvious. You know, like a creeper's... not a creeper, zombie spawn, sorry. And you kind of see that. This one is the villager and also the bone meal effect. But that's actually called the villager happy. So let me just show you that. It's quite hard for me to get on them. Minecraft villager happy. I am just putting all these 2 blocks above. And this one is the lava dripping look. So you might have seen that before. If you're in the nether or something, you got netherrack above you and it's got lava above that block. It will drip through, a bit like how the water does as well. But anyway, they're the 6 particles, sorry, that I'm going to be showing off. And now I've actually got this tag. What I can do is go in this barrel here, grab this blue ice, and let's just put a couple of these like this, okay? So, and because I've got the tag, right, what I'm going to do is affect this. So, I've got this command block here set up, and it's executing at P, tag equals particle. I've got that now. And it's going to detect when I've got a block of blue ice below me, and it's going to emit the spell. So, you're going to see this. It's quite cool, actually. So, I try to make this as simple as I could, just using one repeating command block, okay, for most of these. So you're going to see, whenever I walk on this, it looks like I'm kind of slipping. Whoa! Very, very simple, but very, very powerful. If you think about that you're making a parkour map or something like that, and you want certain things to do certain things, and just to add a bit more, you can add particles to it. Okay, so I'm going to turn that one off. This one, if I remember correctly, is just literally adding the particle to you because I've got the actual tag now. And I've made this kind of just go a little bit below me, not too high, but you can kind of see when I run around, it's just kind of emitting this particle, which is pretty cool. A lot of people like this kind of thing for their servers and things to show off, I guess. But yeah, that's that one. This one is... whenever there is an entity that isn't the player, that isn't an armor stand, and that isn't a snowball, it's going to emit this crazy red thing. You know, this stuff, the rising border dust. So if I flip this one on, go in here, grab myself a couple of skeletons, and show you why this one is so powerful. Because if I spawn these in, they're going to start emitting all of these. So this is kind of like a detection that they're actually there. Because look, this actually goes through blocks. And yes, these are half slabs. This is a full block. So you can actually use particles that will go through blocks, which is really, really powerful. So yeah, I'm just kind of giving you some examples here, how powerful particles can be. And I'm trying to make you think outside the box here. That was my idea. But this one doesn't use any tags, okay? I'm just kind of showing you that. Just you know, a different example here. Right, I need to kill these skeletons. So I've killed all the skeletons. I've killed all the items. Now let's have a look what I've got next. So let's go in this barrel, grab these snowballs, and flip this one on, and throw this. That actually looks really, really cool, I think. It might be a little bit too big, but what this is doing, because the snowball is actually an entity, when it's thrown, it is possible to actually attach a execute command to it. So I'm executing at E, type equals snowball, and then I'm just adding a particle of the mob spawn emitter. Okay? And that's just a couple, wow, it's like half a block underneath it to kind of give that effect. But you might be noticing I am putting these on delay, so if I was to put this on 0, it would generate the particle a bit quicker. But I feel like that's a bit too fast. I don't know, maybe it's just me. I don't know. Again, just some examples for you. I can put all these things away. And then I'm going to grab this villager. So this one is kind of a bit of an interesting one because it's actually executing twice in the same command. Okay, so it's detecting if the closest player has got the particle tag, and then it's going to execute at a villager within a 5-block radius the particle above its head of the villager, basically. Okay, hopefully that all made sense. So for example, I've got a villager in here, and I flip this on, you're going to see this little thing. Now, you imagine you change that particle to some sort of exclamation mark or a beam or something, like for a questing. This is what I'm kind of getting at. So, for example, look, I come away from it, I go near him, and all of a sudden it comes back. So you could obviously set this up to any kind of radius you want. Yes, it is going to show for a little bit. That's because it's on a repeating command. But when I get 5 blocks radius, it turns back on, which is pretty cool. So you can kind of use that as a bit of a questing system. That's kind of what I was going for. But I'm just showing you this, and it is all in just in this one repeating command block, which is quite powerful. I'm sorry, dude. Goodbye. So now I'm on to the lava drip one. And this one uses something a bit different. Now, you may or may not have seen this one before. But execute at P tag equals particle. So I need to have this tag. And then we've got upward facing arrows. Now this is actually where a player is actually looking. It's not the tildes where they're actually standing in the coordinates. It's where the actual cursor is facing, basically. So watch this. So if I flick this one on, I can kind of draw circles with lava particles. How cool is this? I don't really know what you would really use this for, but I imagine quite a lot of you guys out there are quite creative. It is quite funny, and it is quite strange. Like, wherever I look, a kind of thing comes around you. It looks actually really, really fancy. And you could probably set this up with a lot of commands and make this look like a nice ring going around the player, you know, like they do on the servers sort of thing. On, you know what I'm talking about. But either way, that is something a bit different to think about, isn't it? So hopefully, Jessa, that answers your question about how to use particles with commands, okay? And where you can find them. Now, you asked about sounds as well, so I've set up a couple of examples here. I did show you at the start how you can find these sounds. It's not very difficult, but I'm just going to give you a couple of examples, and I've got another bit of a... Somebody else asked a question about sounds, so I thought I may as well slip this one in as well. So I've got all of these different sounds here. Now, this one is placing bamboo, a lantern being stepped on, a stone cutter being used, a turtle egg breaking, a cauldron exploding. I didn't even know that could happen. See? Cauldron explode. How strange. Crossbow being shot. My personal favourite one, drinking honey. Lit furnace. And then lastly, a bell being hit from a village. Oh, my ears! That one is so loud. I forgot about that. Whoops. Anyway, somebody asked as well, I'll pin your little comment on the screen here, about sounds being played at a certain player. Now, all you need to do is execute it at the player. That's all you need to do. And then play the sound. So, for example, this is not a ticking area, by the way. If I just flip this, you're going to hear a bell. You still hear it. Full blast. Can you still hear that, yeah? It never changes. It's always, because I'm flying, it's obviously going to get a bit quieter, but if I'm, for example, just walking, it's not playing from the actual command. It's so loud, I'm so sorry. Hopefully I turned that down a bit. So I got a bit of a bonus thing here. This is about griefing on realms and servers and stuff. Now, Jay Cassidy and Lister asked about this one a long time ago. And I think probably quite a lot of you would like things like this for your realms to protect them from people who grief. You know, there's always one, isn't there? And it's so annoying. I don't know why everyone does it. But either way, this is a good way of stopping people absolutely destroying your world with TNT. Okay? So, a TNT griefer protection system. So I got a barrel here with a load of TNT and a flint, okay? Now, I'm going to hit game mode S here. And this is a TNT testing area. So if I put this here and light it, it's just going to fall down and never blow up anyway and just disappear in the void. If I was to place it right here, it would blow everything up, right? Apart from the bedrock, as we know. But if I flick this lever on and actually place this here and light it, oh dear. This is going to be a bit of a problem for me. DanRobzProbz, TNT is banned on this realm. And you notice when I actually went to light that, I instantly got affected with the wither effect. Again, if I go over here, I don't know, let's just go over here and light this. I'm dead. I think this is a pretty good anti-protection for TNT. Now, you could kind of do the similar sort of thing with the wither as well, because it's technically an entity you can test for. So what I'm going to do is just hop into game mode C. And yes, let me just show you, I'll place loads of these down and light them all. Whoa, they're not, and it's not going to work, guys. You see how fast it disappears? There's just no way whatsoever that you're going to be able to set these off in this world. I'm clicking so fast. Yes, Dan, I know it's banned. But yeah, you kind of get my gist there. I need to clean this fire up. Oops. I've cleared up all my grass and fire issues. And yeah, let's have a look at the command. It's quite simple. So it's executing at P, range minimum equals 1. Okay. Now, if you are playing this on a realm or a server or something, you want to protect everyone from it or whatever, change the execute at P to at A. So that means at all players. Okay. Now, range minimum equals 1. Now, I know what a couple of you are going to be thinking here. Hang on a minute. You could just light this close, and it's not going to work then. But it does. Okay? Even if you actually stand on it. So, this is actually making it so the range minimum has to be a minimum of 1 for this command to work. But we don't have a 1. So, it's the whole world. So don't worry about anything. Even if I stretch my arms so long, it will still work. This is where this is so powerful. But it's nothing, look, it's really small. But anyway, all it's doing is testing for a type equals TNT. Because if you didn't know, when you light TNT, it becomes an actual entity. So you can test for it, which is really good. And what I'm doing is basically affecting the player first, before anything. And these are all set up with chains, so it's instant, you know, like really fast, because like I showed you, you can spam TNT and you can light it really fast actually in game. So you've got to make this command instant, otherwise if any of those TNT lights, you know, it'll be catastrophic or whatever you want to call it. Basically after that is just killing the entity, and then it's giving you a little message, say at P TNT is banned on this realm or whatever. And just to show you here, to actually color these, you obviously use this symbol. But if you want to color, say, my name tag, you have to give it a space look. Hopefully you can see that. I'll zoom in on a video so you can see that. So for example, if I wanted my name to be yellow all of a sudden, and I go ahead and like this, my name should be yellow now, as you can see. And to get server written in green like that, obviously you just rename the command, because this is where it's running from. So that is the end of At Your Command episode 2. And like I say, next week, next Tuesday, I will be focusing more on server protection and round protection from griefers, you know, because why would anyone want to do that? I don't know, but we got to do these things, you know, there's always one, isn't there? But I'm pretty sure in the next coming updates in Minecraft, we're going to be able to get the /kick and /ban command and stuff. So hopefully that does come in the next update, that being another update. But anyway, I'm DanRobzProbz. Thank you very much for watching, and I shall catch you next week. Bye!